welcome to my video today. I just have this whole stack of pre-made scrapbook pages that I have made over the last few years. And I actually, when I was cleaning up in my craft room and moving some things around, I actually came across a box that had a bunch of these in them, and I had forgotten about them because I set them aside. Once I make them, sometimes I make these for classes. I get asked a lot why I pre-make my layouts, and there's a couple different reasons. The first reason is a lot of times I am doing classes, and so it's part of the class, and they're getting the instructions for the layout, and I am making something that maybe necessarily I'm not using right away. The other reason is a lot of times I just have little pockets of time to craft, and if it's not for a class I'm designing or something specific, and I just want to be able to, like, sometimes I'm in the mood to scrapbook, but maybe I don't have photos yet, or maybe I want to use a certain product and it's not, like, I'm not ready with photos for it. I will just make a layout and then I will add my photos layout. I will add my photos later. So a lot of people say, well, then how do you make sure your photos match your layouts? I don't. So for the most part, I never have a problem with my photos matching. I mean, I know we've all done that, right? We've all made our family dress in a certain outfit or certain colors because we have the perfect paper and we want to use that. And so, you know, we do that. And then we, in the back of our mind, we're like, okay, and then now I'll use that paper or I'll use that certain product. I certainly do that, and I still do that. But for the most part, my photos just go on the layouts that I want them to go on, and I never really have a problem. So if I do want, like, if I want to use a certain photos and, like, maybe, you know, maybe I want this layout and I'm going to use photos for it, but everybody is in hot pink, well, then I would just turn the photo black and white, and then the colors wouldn't matter. So for me, as I go through this, I'm just going to talk through some of this so that you can see these layouts. And then I'm also going to take and put some photos of my favorite over on a blog post. So it probably won't be right away, but as soon as I get that done, I will put a link in the description box below so that you can see some photos. So the thing is that I know that I don't have a lot of time to do this, to scrapbook, and I love doing it, and I love having the traditional layouts. And so if I can have a foundation that I can build on, it makes it a lot easier for me to then be able to get projects done. And I'm willing to sacrifice everything not looking perfect, the photo not being perfect exact for the paper or the layout, so that I can have the traditional layouts and I can get some of these pages done. So you can see that I have a couple embellishments on here, like I did this, but I don't have anything else, and I will add to it when I use this layout. The other thing that I am wanting to get back to doing is doing my calendars. Many of you may remember I used to do calendars. Close to my heart sells blank calendars, and then you can add, they're big enough to add 12 by 12 layouts or 12 by 12 pattern paper, and the top part is the like layout, can be the layout part, and then the bottom part can be the calendar. And I used to do these for my grandma and my mom, and when my grandma passed away, I stopped doing them because it was just too hard to kind of do. It was something that I did for her. But I'm thinking about getting back into doing them. I came across, I think I had like 4 or 5 calendars that I had purchased, knowing that I did that. Every year I gave them to my grandma as a Christmas gift. It was one of her Christmas gifts. And I would put, you know, family photos in there. And then she had essentially a scrapbook because she wasn't a crafter and she's not a scrapbooker, and she didn't have a lot of photos that she would put up around her house. And so it was a way for her to display some photos in a functional way. So I might do that again. I have all of these layouts, so I could complete one without any thought in it. I could just complete a couple. This is a Valentine's Day one, and you can see I just used pattern paper and I added the hearts on here and then some embellishments. Again, if I wanted to add more, I could. I usually always add journaling to my layouts. So that's always something that I can do. And a lot of my layouts, unless there's something stamped on them, a lot of them can be turned however you want them. Like this one could work this way. It could work this way. Could work this way. It could work any which way you really wanted it to. I try to keep it really simple with all of my photo mats. So these are where photos would go. This is probably where journaling would go. So all my photo mats are usually very, very simple. 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 or 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. That way a 4 by 6 photo can be put on there, or 4 by 4. So I'm just, it would be 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I'm just chopping a little bit off the photo, or 3 by 4. That's another really common one that I use. And these are ones that you probably saw recently. I did them for a class. Again, this one was for a class. So I have quite a few using this designer paper. And these were some of my most favorite ones I've done recently. I'm sorry about this little light here. It's just the way the light is coming in. So I loved using this paper and doing these layouts. I loved the tag, and I had the best time making these. These are some of my favorites and most recent. Here is another one. This would be a great top to the calendar, like for fall, for like maybe September. This would be perfect because it has this beautiful paper display, so it's pretty, and then I could put a photo there and it'd be really simple. The calendars do get really heavy, so when you hang it up, you have to make sure that you hang it where it's gonna, you know, with something that's sturdy enough to hang it. You have to be really careful because, I mean, well, for me, I add a lot to my layouts. So because of that, they tend to get heavy. So here is, let me see. Here is another one for a recent class I did. See these, I think I mixed these up. I think this, no, this goes with this one, I think, and this goes like this. A couple of these got mixed up in this pile. I couldn't believe how many I had. I loved this. We colored the pumpkins, and we had the gold pumpkins. So that was for a class, and I had like 3 of these as well. This one would be another great one for the calendar. You could just put a collage of photos. You don't have to have them on, nope, this is the wrong one. Here we go. I am missing the other side of this. I'm gonna have to set that aside until I find it. So this one would be great for the calendar because you could just put a collage of photos, or you could put one big photo. I'm a fan of really big photos, so that works. And I love the elements for the calendar, like the ribbon, because it's on the outside of the, it's not in a page protector. So once I put these in a page protector, the ribbon gets a little bit smashed down, and it's not, you know, you can't touch it or feel it. So on the calendar is kind of a fun way to do that. So then here is another one for that last class that I had done. I loved this one. Again, I fussy cut a lot of the pieces out, and then all of these, if there's anything that is ever over a photo mat, there's always a way to be able to put that photo in there. So then here's some older ones that I did that I was just so excited to find. So there's this one here, and I did some stamping directly on the paper, and then I did some flower and some doilies, and again, like the photo or the journaling can fit right under there. This one was really pretty. The stamping I did on there, I loved this paper. Some of this I remember the paper very fondly. This one was one of the first layouts that I started kind of doing this technique where I would just put together a layout, and it was really this paper that started this kind of journey for me because I loved this paper, but I didn't have any photos yet, and my intention was to put photos, use this in one of my daughter's albums, and I probably still will for sure, but it kind of started this, like, what if I just put together a layout? I used a tag that I had and a die, and I thought, what if I just put the layout together and I add the photos later? Okay, here is the other half of this. And let me get this right. It goes like this. Here it is, because I cut the designer paper right down the middle. So that is this layout. I knew it would make sense sooner or later. I also stamped directly on that background piece. This one is another one. When I found this one, I was so ecstatic. This was so fun to make. And again, if I had photos that, you know, I wanted to go in here and like everybody was in hot pink, like, okay, that might clash a little bit. It might feel a little weird to have like those types of photos on here. I would just turn them black and white, and then you can see like here the photo will slip right under there. I did some stamping. I loved this one. This one was really great. And this I just used pattern paper. So you can see my base is pattern paper, so it's a little bit thinner. It's not as thick as cardstock would be, but again, once you get it in the page protector, it'll be fine. This is one that I just did last week for my mini Halloween class that I did. And we did 3 cards and a scrapbook page and then a little treat box thing. And I used the glimmer paper, I stamped, I did the die cuts. This was a die cut, this was a die cut. And I love the way it came out. I used 12 by 12 designer paper on that. And that would be perfect for a calendar. We don't much celebrate Halloween. And so I don't know that I would use it in my actual album, but it would be perfect for a calendar for October. Here's one I did a really long time ago. You might remember this product. These were so cute, and I just, I think I die cut out of the actual paper. I loved this colorful paper. And then this was fun. I did this as a way to add journaling kind of in those strips. I just flagged the end of a bunch of these and I stacked them. And then I have all of these. It might be hard. The camera might not pick it up, but I have all these little dots like they're bubbles coming up from the soda. And then I did some stamping on this piece. And again, I used pattern paper for the base of this layout, which makes it slightly thinner. There should be another one for that. Is there, or is that a single? That might be a single. Nope. Yep. Yep, I think that's a single. So here is a single page. Again, some die cuts. I very rarely do single pages, so there might be one that pops up. This would be a great calendar page because it's really simple. I'm gonna set that one aside. This one I had made with intentions of actually putting it in my son's album because he had a field trip to the zoo. And I think I ended up losing this layout. I didn't know where it went, and so I just put the photos I ended up putting the photos together in his album without it. But this has no embellishments. It's literally just the photo mats, the designer paper, but no embellishments or anything. And so it's really open to like whatever I want to do with it once I use it. Next up is this one here, and I loved this one. I loved this paper, and I used the, it was back when Stampin' Up! Had Project Life style cards that they called Project Life cards, and so they were these kits. Now we have the Memory and More cards, which are the 3x4 or 4x6 cards, which work great, but you can see I just added one of those, and then I add, oops, it's upside down. I think it goes like this maybe. See, that's the great thing. If you don't put words or things like that, you can flip your layouts to work best for your photos as well. I always try to keep that in mind. And then like here, this is in the middle, it has some adhesive, but these lift so that your photo or your journaling spot or your other card can slip right under there. So there is that one. And then here is this one with the butterflies. And it's just on white cardstock for the background piece. And then again, another card is right there. And I would use that for journaling, probably for sure. And then I embossed all of these butterflies with different embossing folders and added them. And it made a beautiful layout. It says celebrate right there, which was just a die cut. This one here, I did this die cut, The Good Life, I did on my Cricut. So I just cut that out. It says The Good Life. And then I did some stamping. So this is one that I wanted to use these little hedgehogs. I just stamped them and then I fussy cut them. I did some die cutting with the hearts, and then for this, I die cut it several times on my Cricut, and then I stacked it. So it's a nice thick embellishment right there. And then again, I can just add my photos. I could add more embellishments if I wanted. I would probably leave that one pretty simple, because I like it the way it is. This one is another single one. Again, I don't do those very often, but I really liked all of my stitching on here, all the faux stitching. That takes me back. I did faux stitching on the outside of the page, the layout, and then on all of the photo mats, I did faux stitching. Even on the black, I did white faux stitching. I'm surprised I didn't do it on this flagged piece. And then I have the butterflies. I loved this paper, this black and white butterfly paper. So that's a single one. And then there is this one. I really loved the way this one came out. I did this offset with these, where there was one down below and then there was one above, and that was really fun. You almost think like it should line up, but I did it purposely where it doesn't line up. And that turned out really cute. I loved this paper. And then it was also a little different for me because I have the top up here with these, which you could put a title in here if you wanted, and then some embellishments if you didn't want to do photos. You could also put another journaling block here or a 3x4 photo, so you could get more photos. I tend to not do as many photos on a layout, so I was fine with that, but you could definitely get more in there. And then this is the last one. It is a single page, and it was just some product that I wanted to use. This says the story, and then it has these gold elements. I did some heat embossing on this, and then I put the layout together, and you could pair it with a 12x12 actual photo. I love doing that, having the ability to do that. But this is just a really fun way to use your product, and you can follow a sketch. It's a great way to just pull up a sketch, go on Pinterest and search scrapbook sketches and pull up a sketch, and then put together a layout and set it aside until you get photos. Just don't do what I've done and wait to use all of the layouts. Maybe use them a little bit sooner than what I have. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and checking out these scrapbook layouts. I will have some photos over on my website of some of my favorites. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you love scrapbooking. I'm definitely getting into scrapbooking a whole lot more and what I'm doing and sharing more of that. So I hope that you enjoy that. And I will be back with new projects for you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will chat with you later.